Happy Leo full moon, beautiful souls. How are you doing on this amazing rabbit day? It is the first of the month. Be sure to blow your cinnamon in the door so you can welcome abundance in all month long. So, how are you doing on this amazing full moon? I am your host today, Brooke, and we're going to be diving into this Leo full moon. Now, this is our last full moon before we enter eclipse season. So, the next new moon, we will start the eclipse cycle. So, we are already in the eclipse window. So, be sure to really get in the mindset over the next month to truly start just letting things go. Clear your space. Whatever is trying to leave, let it leave, okay? Eclipses clip things out. So, really, starting with this Leo full moon, you want to make sure that you are taking note of what's maybe ran its course. So, let's dive into Leo, shall we? Leo is the fifth sign in the zodiac. Leo rules our heart. Now, Leo is the masculine heart. So we have Cancer is the feminine heart. It is the higher heart chakra. Leo is going to be the lower heart chakra. And Leo truly represents being courageous and being on stage and not afraid to be your true authentic self. You know, it takes courage to truly be your authentic self because so many people are afraid of rejection. Are you being your true authentic self? Are you truly having courage and being who you are? You know, it takes courage to get on here and make these videos. It takes courage for me to show up every single day. It takes courage for me to make predictions, whether they come true or not. It still takes courage to get on screen and put my face out there. So I truly have to tap into that Leo energy a lot. So with this being a full moon, it is all about letting go. Okay. Are you letting go of fears that are holding you back from being courageous? Are you letting go of possibly blocking your heart? You know, are you afraid of love? Leo also truly represents love. And Leo to me also represents our inner child because Leo does rule that aspect. So, with this being a full moon, are you afraid to be seen? Because it takes courage to be seen. Are you truly living in your heart space? Are you being a beacon of love? Or are you being an asshole? Like, where are you standing? What vibration, what energy are you living in? And really take a note. Take what needs to be let go. Where could you possibly add a little bit more love, add a little bit more courage? Or do you need to spend some time focused on your inner child journey? There's a lot of things that we go through as children that can truly block us from experiencing love. So, where are you at? What do you need to do? What do you need to let go of? Now, this is going to be a sun ruled full moon, and the sun is detriment in Aquarius. The sun does not like being in Aquarius. It is too cold, it is too detached. The sun likes to shine. The sun likes to be happy. The sun likes to be joyful. The sun likes to spread love. So, with this being a sun ruled full moon, and the sun not being happy in detriment, we're really going to have to dig deep to truly live in that energy of Leo. Now, Leo is also the performer on stage, really performing for the audience. So, are you performing as you want to in your life. There is a quote that says, we are the lead role of our own life. So are you fulfilling that role? Are you living up to the expectations that you want to live up to? I've changed the scenery. I felt like it was time to come back. Again, this is that Leo aspect of stepping into the role, being in the spotlight. Now, be sure to blow your cinnamon in the door today, and hopefully you did all your cleansing, all your preparing. Prior to today, Rabbit, it is the first of the month. I cannot believe that we are already in February, and I do hope that you all are staying warm out there. We've gotten so much snow here in East Tennessee, and I'm hoping it leaves fairly quickly so I can get back to normal life. However, I have enjoyed a little bit of downtime, not having to run here, run there, and really just take care of some needs at home. Truly just nurture and take care of these things. So, without further ado, let's dive into the chart. So this Leo full moon is going to be taking place at 17:08 p.m. Eastern time zone. So it's just going to be here in just a few hours. And it's going to be at 13 degrees 2 minutes. And as you can see, the moon's not really making any aspects to anything whatsoever. I mean, it's opposing the sun. The nodes are at 9 degrees of Pisces. So with this Leo full moon, you want to make sure that you look to see exactly where it's going to be taking place in your chart. So you know what area of life you need to focus on. Where do you need to, or what do you need to release during this moon cycle? Really bring the focus back into the heart chakra. Do you love what you do on a daily basis? Like, Leo truly has the ability to bring a lot of energy to everything, whether it's something simple or something complex. Like, Leo truly is the light shining bright because it's the sun. We need the sun in order for our plants to grow. We need the sun in order for us to grow because we are basically live plants, right? So, over the next 2 weeks, where are you blocking your heart? Is your heart chakra fully open? Are you allowing and accepting love? So many people are afraid of love. So many people are afraid of getting their hearts broken. And a lot of times, even, if we've gone through childhood and we have suffered truly immense heart chakra pain, there's a lot of focus that needs to be done in order to clear that out. You can look into certain crystals like the sunstone or crystals that are specifically for the heart chakra. Jade, green amethyst. There's so many that you can work with that truly helps to bring rose quartz, that truly helps to bring that energy back into you. Now, we are going to have Mercury at 21 degrees of Aquarius. We're going to have Venus at 19 degrees of Aquarius. We've got the Sun at 13 degrees Aquarius. We've got Mars at 7 degrees Aquarius. And we've got Pluto at 3 degrees Aquarius. So we still have a lot of energy in Aquarius. it feels cold. It is cold outside. So we've got to lean more into this Leo aspect, bring in the sun, bring in hope, bring in laughter, bring in joy, bring in courage. You know, it truly takes courage to be the performer. It takes courage to be on stage. Now we have Jupiter that is in a trine exactly with Poseidon. So there could be residual emotions that are being brought up to the surface. There's a lot of fears that can be brought up to the surface when we have to step into that courage. It takes courage to take a leap of faith on love. It takes courage to express love because of that fear of rejection. So listen to the feelings that are coming up, but also keep in mind that fear and excitement feel the exact same. And as far as your nervous system is concerned, it can't distinguish the difference. So if there is fear about falling in love, if there is fear connected to opening your heart chakra, if there is fear connected to relationships and being in the spotlight, you know, so many people have the fear of being seen. Literally, public speaking, one of the most common #1 fears out there. That's Leo. Being able to stand in front of people and speak. Listen to those emotions. Don't allow those emotions to hold you back. But they're there as triggers to show you what aspects and what areas you need to examine and let go of. Now we have Uranus that is sextile to Saturn. Now, keep in mind, over the next 2 weeks, we're going to have Uranus station direct, and then we're going to go through multiple squares with Uranus. So, if things are falling apart, let it go. When things have expired their time being there, don't hold on to it. Leo is fixed, and we have all this energy in fixed. We have this energy in fixed, okay? And we've got this in fixed. There's a lot of fixed energy with this moon. So don't hold on to things that are trying to lead. Truly let go and let God lead the way. And this is going to be one of those weeks that we're truly just going to have to let go. We're going to have to let go. We're going to have to let God lead. We're going to have to let the divine truly step in, because we're going to have this stellium really working its way right into Pisces, the divine. You want to look and see where this is happening in your birth chart so you know the areas of life that's going to start changing, specifically as we start getting into these squares with Uranus and Uranus stationing direct. Now, Mercury is working into a sextile with Chiron. So this is a great time to really take an honest look at your wounds. This goes back to the whole being able to speak in front of people. So many people have that fear, you know, and really doing our childhood healing. It is our responsibility to heal those wounds. It is our responsibility to keep our heart open. Now, we do have Venus working out of a square with Poseidon. So Venus isn't that happy in Aquarius. Like, she's going to be happier in Pisces. So we only have just a little bit longer before Venus quickly gets out of here. But with this square in Scorpio, again, I feel like this is where some fears are going to come into play. This is where some fears are going to really be highlighted for you to see on your healing journey, you know, what truly needs to be let go of. And some things that I've been talking about, because we have all this energy in Aquarius, truly bringing the unconscious conscious. We have so many that allow for fears to rule the decisions that they make in life. So, as far as your relationships, are you open to receiving love, but also are you giving love? Are you in the right community of people? Do you have like-minded people around you that freely share love as you do? Now we have Zeus and Mercury that are working into an air trine. Now Zeus is now retrograde. So I do feel this is also going to help to support those relationships that are meant to move you forward. Now, because we are in the eclipse window for the eclipses, because exactly 16 days from now we'll have our first eclipse, okay? There is going to be a re-examining of the people, the jobs. Is everything balanced? Does everything truly mirror what it is that I'm building? Our money. A really good way to see if you are truly in a divine connection. And this is every connection that you have, you need to see it as either it's a divine connection or not. Money is the first way for me to be able to see. It's like the resources start going away. But as soon as I clear that person and that energy out, money starts showing right back up. Okay. Now we have Saturn at 28 degrees, and Saturn's going to be moving out of Pisces here real soon, and it will be in this full moon cycle. And we have Pisces and Lilith that are within a 3-degree orb of their square. Now, Lilith is retrograde, so she's going to retrograde back and end up retrograding back into Scorpio and opposing Uranus. So they are working out of the square. However, Lilith in Sag, I have Lilith in Sag natally. You know, it likes to be fun, spontaneous. Truly, Sag rules all the different countries. So Lilith and Sag can truly be about all the different ethnicities, loving different foods, loving to travel, loving to, you know, have a flair for all the different cultures that are out there. So some are, wanting to travel, some are wanting to have fun, some are truly wanting to go in a completely different direction versus where they're at. But with this square, it could feel like, nope, not just yet. And there's also been a lot of things that's been brought up as far as passports are concerned and people not being able to actually travel and get out smoothly. It's like Saturn has kind of blocked that and brought people back home. Now we do have Lilith that's going to retrograde and work back into that trine with Chiron. So again, use this fire to really dig deep and see, okay, where am I holding myself back? Where am I blocking my heart chakra? Where am I not having fun with life? Okay. And allow for this fire, because we're going to have a grand fire trine with Eris, with White Moon, Selena, and Lilith to be able to do that. Now, keep in mind, Eris and Aries can be very combative. It can want to fight. So be mindful of that. You don't have to fight. You don't have to do it in a combative way, but truly use the element of fire to burn through any fears, any blocks that you have coming up for you. And the way you can use the element of fire is literally writing them down and burning them. On this Leo full moon, write it down, burn it, release it, let it go. I'm going to pull. I'm going to pull a card for the energy. Give me one card for the energy of this Leo full moon. King of Cups, King of Swords, holy shit, and Hierophant. Okay, so using the power of your emotions to truly write down everything that you need to let go of. Use your words, use your mind, and then I got the Hierophant, making the choice to really change the direction that you're going in, to let things go. Like, you don't have to live in fear of being seen. You don't have to suppress your emotions. You don't have to bite your tongue, right? Be honest. Write it down. Burn it. Use the element of air. Allow for your emotions, Jupiter and Cancer, to truly drive that for you. What needs to be let go of? All right, so February 2nd, I did not pull this chart, and I didn't pull the charts for all the days of this, but I do want to touch on February 2nd. The moon's going to oppose the Aquarius stellium before it ingresses into Virgo on the 2nd. And we're going to have Mercury sextile Chiron exactly. And truly, again, using your words and the power of writing, the power of word magic to face those fears, to face those blocks, write them down and let it go. Because we are in the full moon cycle. It's all about releasing. It's all about letting go. Okay. And then we're going to have the moon trine Lilith and then ingress into Virgo at 22:22 p.m. Eastern time zone on the 2nd. Now, on February 3rd, we're going to have the moon conjunct the south node, and this is going to take place at 14:19 p.m. So this is 2:19 p.m. Eastern time zone. On February 3rd at 21:34 p.m., and this is where I pulled the chart for, we're finally going to have Uranus station direct. Thank goodness. And this is going to take place at 27:27. And Zeus and Mercury are going to start their trine. As you can see, they're only within a 2-degree orb of their trine. And Mercury is now going to be in a sextile with Eris. I do feel, okay, with Mercury in Aquarius, it can be very cold. It can be very direct. It can be very King of Swords energy, okay? Very matter of fact. Facts don't care about feelings. And it can come across as very detached, very unsensitive. However, there is an ability with the Mercury in Aquarius to be able to see patterns, to be able to recognize patterns. Now, as with this trine or with this sextile here, okay, and this trine here, just be mindful of not becoming too combative because Eris and Aries might want to fight. It might want to use its words as a sword, specifically with Mercury in a sextile, okay? Because they're talking really good together, okay? So you just want to be mindful. Let's not be too harsh. I mean, you can be direct, you can speak your truth without being an asshole, but you don't have to intentionally go to war to get your point across. So that's the energy. Like, be direct, speak how you feel. However, because we also are going to have the moon in Virgo too, right? So the moon in Virgo can be very nitpicky. It can be very detail oriented, which can come across as a very nitpicky energy because it's all about being the critic. And then you've got Mercury in a sextile with Eris. Like, just be mindful not to be too aggressive with your words. Now, you could also use this energy because this is on Tuesday, this is on Mars Day, to truly use that Eris energy and the power of writing to release the things that are blocking you to let them go. Now, we're going to have the moon trine Juno. After it talks to the south node, after it has this conjunction with the south node, and this is also going to be after, or it's going to be right before Uranus stations direct. So, are you blocking yourself from love? A lot of times, like, we do intentionally self-sabotage. Are you doing that? Take an honest look. Take note. Get the details. Write them down. Put them into action to move forward. Specifically with this trine here. Okay, we got Juno in Capricorn. Like, what does it look like? What does it feel like? And if anything isn't that, let it go. But you got to take a look at yourself first when it comes to your heart. And this is going to be with all relationships. This is going to be with the work that you do on a daily basis. This is going to be how you show up for yourself in life. Now, I do want to note that we've got Venus at 22 degrees, also working into that sextile with Chiron and Aries. Now, Venus at 22 degrees, y'all know there could be arguments, there could be breakups, there could be, faded things from the past that happen in order to clear the path for you to get to where you're meant to be. Breakups, arguments, loss of jobs. And since we're in eclipse season, because we're going to have that eclipse at 28 degrees, like, faded things are going to be happening. Faded redirection. Okay, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. Now, Juno is also going to, nope, the moon is going to sextile Hades right after it trines Juno. So, make your list, write it down. As things are letting go, as things are moving, as things are getting reorganized, just let God take the wheel. Over the next month, it's truly going to be a let go and let God lead the way. Truly. Now, on February 4th, actually, give me one card for the energy for February 3rd. I like it. So, holy shit. All right. I got it. And I love this, okay, because it shows a progression. I got the Nine of Pentacles, really focused on you, focused on your self-worth, your self-value, filling your cup up, listening to your intuition. The High Priestess, like Mercury in Aquarius, is also kind of like the High Priestess, like knows when to be quiet. The High Priestess is cold. The High Priestess doesn't talk. She keeps her mouth shut. She's not fighting and arguing. She sits on the throne and she knows that the divine truly has her back. Now, and it's all about the people coming together that's truly supposed to be elevated. Look at this. You see them? We got the Nine of Pentacles, the High Priestess, the Three of Pentacles, and the Empress. So there is some alchemizing that's taking place. There is some redirection, new people showing up, specifically as far as relationships, as far as community, people that you're meant to work with, okay? Stay grounded in this. The Empress attracts. Everything she needs is brought right to her. She is the mother, okay? She is the nurturer. She knows and gives love because she is a mother and she nurtures and takes care of her children. So live in that energy, specifically as it comes to working on that heart chakra, as it specifically as you are looking at those areas that could be blocks. Where are you blocking yourself? Where do you need to release and let go? Okay, now on February 4th, I do not have a chart for this, but on February 4th, we're going to have Jupiter move to 16 degrees, 59 minutes, and this is going to happen at 3:09 a.m. And then we're going to have Venus exactly sextile Chiron. Now, on February 5th, we're going to have the very first square with Uranus, and this is going to be with Mercury. Now, Mercury is going to enter shadow on the 11th. So in just 6 days, we are in eclipse season. So one of the biggest themes that always comes up with Mercury shadow, retrograde, hacking, cyber attacks, data leaks, all the things, okay? And something that has recently crossed my path that I kind of want to touch on right now, because to me, this would be a Mercury square Uranus situation, right? Because Mercury is in Aquarius, it's going to affect the entire collective. Recently, Amazon launched to where you can do telemed on their platform, and you just go to the app, you put in all your information, you do a televisit with the provider, and then Amazon ships the medicine straight to your house and you get it within 2 to 3 days, however long it takes for the shipping to show up. Now, in theory, this sounds great. In theory, this sounds like, wow, is this going to take a load? It's going to be convenient. I'm not going to have to go anywhere. I can do this from the comfort of my home. Great. Well, what's going to happen? Okay, because Amazon has already multiple times been in multiple lawsuits for hacks, leaking, people's personal information has been exposed because they've had cyber attacks, things like that. So what's going to happen? Now, people's personal medical data can be exposed. You've now signed your right of having HIPAA away, because what's going to happen to all of your personal information if there is another cyber attack, if there is another hack, if there is people's personal information as far as their medical records are concerned. Like I was thinking about this and I was like, golly, like you would not even HIPAA what? Like, I pray we don't see anything like this. However, in knowing and understanding how sensitive things have not been taken care of, okay, specifically with Amazon, like they have issues as far as all those things are concerned quite frequently. Them and AT&T, and there's a couple of other companies that experience, I see it often. Okay, cyber attacks, hacking, yada yada yada. Okay. Now, on another note, with this Mercury square Uranus, this could be sudden insight, sudden downloads, suddenly piecing or getting the information to go in the direction that you're meant to be going in. So let's say you've gone through major towers, things are being redirected, your path is being redirected. This could be boop, sudden download, boop, sudden information, sudden redirection. This could be, hey, getting a phone call, you've got a job here. This could be a random person that you didn't even think was interested in you reaching out. Hey, with Uranus, and every time Uranus is aspected in a harsh way, and when it stations retrograde and direct, with it being in an earth sign, we've always seen a lot of earthquakes. Okay, so keep that in mind. We could see a lot of earthquakes, specifically in California. We've seen a lot of, we're calling them freezing quakes here over the last week, 10 days, last week since the last storm rolled through. So whoever thought that the ground would get so cold so fast it would cause it to tremor? I never even heard of this. I didn't even know it existed. Again, Uranus is also the mad scientist. So the more we play with Mother Earth, the more we're going to have it react in ways that are not going to be the best. Okay. However, with this square, with it being with Mercury, this is where conversations, emails, text messages, things can come out of nowhere that can be positive or negative, depending on A, what's going on in your personal life, B, are you going in the right direction that you're meant to be going in? Are you on your destined path? Because keep in mind, this, we're working up to these eclipses. So if you are not where you're meant to be, destiny's going to step in and redirect you. Okay? Because Mercury's going to be almost 1 degree away from where that eclipse is going to be taking place. So I wrote down the exact degree. It's going to be 2836. That's 2727. So just a little under 1 degree, right at a degree, just a few minutes off. So when towers show up, flow with them, flow with the redirection, okay? And there could even be awakenings, okay? Because Uranus does represent sudden awakenings as far as how we communicate and that connection to telepathy. Telepathy is real. And people that have dominant Aquarius and Pisces energy knows what I'm talking about. Like you can just hear people's thoughts. I know I can. So on February 5th, we're going to have Mercury square Uranus at 7:13 a.m. There could also be some disruptions as far as travel is concerned, specifically with the planes, because this is Aquarius is air. This is the ruler of Aquarius, okay? And we're going to have Venus sextile Chiron. Oh, no, that's on February 4th. I already spoke about that. We're going to have the sun start working into that square with Poseidon. And then we're going to have the moon oppose Saturn right before it ingresses into Libra. Now, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I do want to touch on this just a little bit, okay? Specifically, since all of these files have been released. With this, starting with this Leo full moon, okay? Those that have been empowered, that have done some shady things, let's just say the divine's going to be stepping in, okay? Specifically those in the limelight, whether they be in your community, whether they be actual stars, whether they be people that are in the justice system, okay? Now, I've seen this really building up over the last 2 months, okay? Really at the start of Scorpio season, the last 3 going on 4 months, okay? A lot of famous people are crossing over. Now, eclipses, once we get a little bit closer to the eclipse, we'll see even more. Eclipse cycles, again, eclipses clip things out, okay? They say, boop, no more, we're going to take you out. So, as this opposition with Saturn have that final degree of Pisces ingressing into Libra, we're going to see a lot of people be arrested or okay, if they're not arrested, we could see a lot of them no longer here. Again, Saturn's at that final degree, at that master degree of Pisces, saying, okay, this is it. It's time to really clean up this mess. There's been a lot exposed. If you've been paying attention to all these religious wars and what's been exposed with TPUSA and all those things, okay? Saturn's like, that's not the way it was supposed to be. However, Saturn does want to control. So there are forces out there that are trying to control these things falling. If they're going to fall, they have to fall, okay? So the moon's going to oppose Saturn at 2:49 a.m. right before Mercury squares Uranus. And then the moon will trine Uranus right before it ingresses into Libra. And then the moon's going to oppose Neptune at 5:01. And then the moon will trine Pluto at 11:44 a.m. So this is why I'm saying we're going to be hearing, and this could come straight out of nowhere, like the shock factor. That's the thing. Uranus is the shock factor that you just can't see coming. And it could be so many people's favorite celebrities that are really, truly wrapped up in all of the things that are being released. Now, at the end of 2024, I told people 2025 would be a year of disclosure. And so help me God, it was. 2026, we got even more. So it's hard to see the dark truth of what's been done behind the scenes to the collective. However, just know that the Most High, Yeshua, the divine army, the divine angels are here with us, helping us to go through this, okay? Now, we also have Zeus still in that trine with Mercury. So Zeus is now retrograde. It's going to go back and oppose Aries, that is now direct. Chiron's now direct, and we've now moved to 23 degrees. Yahoo! Okay. We're no longer feeling that square. Jupiter's now at 16 degrees. Not in an exact trine with Poseidon anymore. But however, just remember in 2024, this and going into 2023 going into 2024. 2024 going into 2025. This is where Mars did that retrograde. Okay. So Jupiter's really going to be bringing some of those things back up. Now on February 6th, I do not have that chart. On February 6th, we're going to have Mercury ingress into Pisces at 5:19 a.m. and the moon's going to square Jupiter at 12:21, and then the sun is going to square Poseidon. As you can see here, it's working into that. And then on February 7th, I do not have a chart for this either, we're going to have the moon conjunct Zeus. So we'll have the moon conjunct Zeus before ingressing into Scorpio, and it will ingress into Scorpio at 1440. So this is 2:40 Eastern time zone, and then immediately trine Mercury, because Mercury is now in Pisces. Venus is going to be ingressing into Pisces real soon. And as you can see here, this is February 8th. We're going to have Venus working into that square with Uranus. Now, the moon's going to square Pluto at 2200, and then start working into that square with Mars. But on February 8th, we're going to have Venus square Uranus exactly. Okay. This is where breakups, a shakeup in how they do business with oil. This is where new people can just show up straight out of nowhere. This is where towers can just truly come into play as far as your money, as far as your people, as far as love is concerned. Again, Uranus is a curveball. You can't always see what's coming with Uranus because it just straight comes out of nowhere. And it's like a flash of lightning, literally. Okay. They say lightning doesn't strike the same spot twice. So it's really hard to predict where lightning's going to happen. So that's Uranus. So we're going to first have Mercury square Uranus, and then we're going to have Venus square Uranus. So how we communicate, how we think about relationships, things that are traditional, things that have always been the way we've done things, right? Completely change. Okay. There could even be a shakeup in the stock market. Venus squaring Uranus. Now, when Venus gets ready to conjunct Saturn, get ready. Okay. Now, the moon's going to trine the north node And it's going to sextile the south node, and this is going to take place at 8:20 a.m. And then the moon's going to square Mars at 15:52 a.m. So we've almost got this stellium moved into Pisces. So Pisces, get ready. And as the planets start going through Pisces, it's almost like we're getting ready to go into a soul deep transformational process. It's going to feel like we are diving into the deepest parts of our soul to be reborn again. Pisces rules the ocean. Okay. Now, on February 9th, I do not have a chart. We're going to have the moon conjunct Poseidon at 12:43 a.m. So this is going to happen at about 17 minutes before 1 a.m. We're going to have Mercury square Lilith at 20:15. So this is going to be 8:15 at 5 degrees. And then we're going to have the moon square the sun at 7:41 a.m. And then we're going to have what I'm considering a fixed T-square. And this is going to be with the moon. Okay. This is going to be with the moon, because the moon's going to be here. This is February 11th. Okay. I can go back. I just didn't pull the chart. The moon's going to be in Scorpio, and it's going to be completely opposing Uranus. So it's going to be at 27-28. And Venus is then going to be at 29 degrees. So we're going to have this fixed T-square with the energy as far as our relationships. We're going to have some shakeups. Things are going to be brought up to the surface. With this being fixed energy, this is where if you're holding on to things that have expired, if you are trying to fix something that is truly broken and it can't be fixed and you're just better off throwing it away and getting a new one, you might feel it just a little bit, okay? Fixed signs want to hold on to things. They want to be very fixed in that energy. And Uranus is there to shake it up and say, no, it's time to let go. It's time to try something new. It's time to go in a new direction. So on February 9th, okay, there could be a shakeup. There could be towers that happen. Just know, let go. Okay, that's all I can tell you all. With all this energy squaring, we got Mercury, we got Venus, we got the sun, we got Mars squaring Uranus. Uranus is going to make you let go and make you move and make you go in a whole new direction. If you're holding on to something that has expired in your life, whether it be your thoughts, whether it be, how you are in relationships, it will bring the disruption. It will bring the redirection. It's almost like Mars and Pluto bringing the tower, but it's like a shot of lightning. Okay, on February 10th, Venus is going to ingress into Pisces, and this is going to take place at 5:19 a.m. Now, Venus is exalted in Pisces. Venus loves being in Pisces because Venus loves dreaming of love, okay? So, you're going to have an opportunity, which you're able to truly walk through that disruption, that redirection, to allow for yourself to dream, specifically when it comes to relationships, specifically when it comes to what you do for a living. Now, the moon's going to conjunct Lilith at 11:51 a.m. And then the sun is going to be at 22 degrees. So y'all know about the 22 degrees. That's all I'm going to say. Just be prepared. And then it's going to be in the sign of Aquarius. Like, this could affect a large collective of people. We could see a large collective of people cross over because we're getting even closer to this eclipse, okay? Now, on February 11th is when Mercury is going to enter shadow. So Mercury is going to start its shadow period here at 8 degrees, 37 minutes, and is going to move up to 22 degrees, and then it's going to station, and then it's going to retrograde back to this 8 degrees. Now, keep an eye on some things that come up in your personal life as Mercury is going through shadow and getting ready to station retrograde, because some of the things that come up during that shadow period are definitely going to be re-examined during the retrograde. Okay. At this point, we only have one planet retrograde. That's Jupiter. And then Mercury is going to join that. So then we'll only have 2 planets retrograde. I do better when the planets are retrograde because I have them retrograde in my progress chart. And retrograde is all about the internal process of how you process the energy versus launching straight forward externally. Okay. Now the sun is going to sextile. Okay, hold on. Mercury's going to enter shadow. Mercury's going to enter shadow at 1912. Okay. And then the sun is going to sextile Chiron at 23 degrees at 2032. I want to pull a card for this day. We're going to definitely feel Mercury slowing down. I'm not a fan of Mercury in Pisces. I really struggle getting my words out. I feel like a fish out of water. The Empress. Continue holding that vibration of receiving, knowing your self-value. And these come up again. Okay, there's definitely going to be some endings that take place. There's going to be, because I get the Ten of Swords, there's definitely going to be some endings take place with all of these planets squaring Uranus. Like, it's just so you all know. I stuck them back in different spots. Shows up again. On February 12th, we're now going to have Mercury conjunct the North Node, and this is going to take place at 1:58 a.m. We're going to have the moon trine white moon Selena, and also trine Chiron and Aries. So keep an eye on your emotions, how you're expressing your emotions, specifically when it comes to the root chakra, anger, aggression, being hurtful, pointing that arrow, aka that finger at people. There's going to be fated conversations that take place. There's going to be fated messages that happen. You know, this is where, if you've been trying to get that dream job, you hear from them. If this is where you have been trying to meet that dream person, it shows up, okay? However, because of the moon, Chiron, and white moon Selena, like, you just want to make sure that you're staying in the higher vibration of this, not being hurtful, not being combative, that you're open to receiving. Empress. The high priestess, knowing when to keep your fucking mouth shut and knowing when to speak, okay? Because we're also going to have the sun in a sextile with Chiron. So this is a great opportunity to really examine maybe triggers. These could be now the sun is in a sextile with the moon too. I didn't think it was. Hold on. No, because I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing a line there. It's exactly 60 degrees though. So it is a sextile. I'm just not seeing the line. Maybe it's a glitch. Now we're also going to have Lilith square Venus. So as you can see, Venus is at 2 degrees of Pisces and Venus is at, I'm sorry, Lilith is at 2 degrees of Sag. Again, try not to let the fire rule the conversation. Mercury in Pisces can be hard to express how you feel, your dreams, things that you want, things that you desire, things like that, okay? So, specifically with this Venus, Venus square Lilith, avoid arguments. However, faded things, faded messages, faded conversations, faded trips, faded things are going to happen because we are just 5 days out from this solar eclipse and Mercury is conjuncting the North Node. Now on February 13th, dun dun dun. Dun, 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 dun. I'm hearing law and order. Truly law and order. Like Saturn is, we could see major things happen on the water. Y'all remember last year when they both ingressed into Aries and then the moon come through and it was like shit was flying, fires everywhere, explosions on the water. Okay, we're still in this Leo full moon. Again, we could see arrest transpire. I will say this. After all of these files have dropped, if arrests do not happen, the collective's going to flip. Like, it's going to happen. So Saturn is going to ingress into Aries at 1912. So this is 7:12 p.m. And then Juno's going to oppose Jupiter, as you can see here. The moon's going to join Juno and oppose Jupiter too right now. It's opposing Hades. And the moon's going to conjunct Juno at 23:14. This is going to be a very shocking day. So we're also going to have Lilith start that opposition with Uranus. The moon, before this happens, like literally just a few hours before this happens, the moon's going to make a sextile to the North Node and a trine to the South Node. So this is where the divine fate is truly coming into play. And I can tell you, expect fires, okay? Fires, whether they be wildfires, whether they be house fires, whether they be bombings, the element of fire, and it can be very vile, okay, with Saturn and Aries, because that's the warrior. The warrior goes to war. It's also the first sign of the zodiac. It's a baby, very immature, very impulsive, very selfish, okay? So, because it rules I am, right? I'm not trying to be mean. That's it rules the self. And most can't see that, but that's neither here nor there. So just know things can get very heated, all right? On February 14th, I do not have the chart for the 14th and the 15th, so I'm just going to read it. Hold on, let me pull a card for this day first. Give me a card for the energy for February 13th. Saturn ingressing. Power. Damn straight. Okay. Okay, there's going to be a tower within the justice system. And I was just talking about this too. This is what trips me, okay? Power with the justice system in regards to women, the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is looking at that, okay? And then I get the Ace of Cups right under this. So things are definitely, there is going to be a restart, okay? Things are definitely going to be changing. Things are definitely going to be moving forward. There could also be I'm hoping this means arrests are coming. So February 13th. Definitely tower energy. And I really felt that. It's like the seeds are going to be planted when the moon is in Libra and the moon's going to be in Capricorn. So it's going to affect our Capricornian structures. But even with hearing that Law and Order, like I definitely feel it's coming. Saturn's going to, like, it's go time. It's warrior time. It is time to truly make the world safe again. On February 14th, this is not the chart for February 14th, but I will use February 13th until we get to that. We're going to have Mars square Poseidon. Poseidon is here. We're going to have Mars at 17 degrees square in Poseidon. That's going to take place at 5:18 a.m. And then we're going to have Lilith oppose Uranus. And it's going to be closer to that 27 degrees. And then the moon's going to trine Uranus at 20:30 p.m. That's 8:30 p.m. And then on February 15th, we're going to have the moon ingress into Aquarius at 1:17 a.m. And then it's immediately going to sextile Saturn. It's immediately going to sextile Saturn. And that's going to take place at 1:32 a.m. Then it's immediately going to sextile Neptune. And that's going to take place at 2:22 a.m. And then it's instantly going to conjunct Pluto at 9:09 a.m. And that's going to take place at 4 degrees. So we now have Pluto at 4 degrees. Pluto will move up to 5 degrees and then retrograde back come this May. So Pluto is going to be entering shadow here pretty soon. Now, Mars is also going to be at 18 degrees on the 15th. So again, dun 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 dun. As we have the moon conjunct Pluto, we always have many people cross over, okay? And we are just one day from the eclipses. So again, eclipse cycles, a lot of people exit during those times because eclipses are portals and they flip things out, okay? On February 16th, we're going to have the Sun square Uranus, and this is going to take place at 12:01 a.m., so 0001 a.m. And this is going to be at 27:31. Now, right after we have the Sun square Uranus, we're going to immediately have Mars square Uranus. This is where the true revolution energy is going to start coming from. Like we're already seeing it, and we've been seeing it for the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, building up. So Uranus rules revolutions, revolutionary energy. We've got all this energy in Aquarius. So this is kind of like a preview of that revolutionary energy really starting to show up. Now, Mars is going to be at 18 degrees, and then we're going to have Venus and Pallas conjunct at 7. So, Pisces, get ready because you're about to have all the planets in your sign. I am grateful that we're going to be going through this eclipse season with all the planets in Pisces, because Pisces is the sign that can time travel, can work on multiple dimensions at the same time. So there will be an aspect of being able to truly cleanse, heal, and break down timelines. Cleanse, heal, break down timelines, because ultimately we're trying to get in the best possible outcome for humanity, avoiding World War III. We don't want to go in that direction. That is the doom and gloom. That is not the highest timeline, okay? The highest timeline is all of the people being arrested, all of these Nephilims, okay, being brought to justice and no longer ruling. This was not God's plan for humanity. Now we're going to have Mercury trine Jupiter at 16:30. So this is where Jupiter could be bringing blessings in regards to maybe something you've sent out, maybe a message you've sent, maybe a conversation, a seed that was planted a long time ago, and Jupiter is now bringing it back around with this trine. And as you can see, we've got Venus working its way into its conjunction with the North Node. So again, there's going to be a lot of fate over the next 4 weeks. And this moon cycle is what is going to trigger all of it to begin. Okay? All right. I love you all. Hang in there, because the very next day, on February 17th, is when we're going to have that solar eclipse. Okay? things are about to be. And Uranus, when Uranus gets to going, like let me tell you, shit happens fast. Like you could think that the world, there's Empress, stay in your Empress energy. Like you can be feeling like the world is over and things are just not going to work out for you. And then boom, all of a sudden, redirection, phone call, text message. Where did that come from? Email. Okay. We'll shuffle again. I'll make sure I was in there. It comes out again. It's definitely a message. Okay. Give me one card for my viewers, please. Uranus. Things are going to be moving fast. Things are going to be removed quickly. Blocks are going to be removed connected to money. There's definitely going to be some endings. However, things are definitely going to move forward in the direction that we're meant to be going. So whatever is trying to lead from the past during this moon cycle is blocking your money. Let it go. Let it go. It's over. It's done. It's done. There's no saving it. There's no bringing it back to life. Let it go. Okay. I love you all. Happy Leo full moon. Let me know what you think about what I've done. And I'll see you in 2 weeks for the Aquarius solar eclipse update. Love you guys. Bye.